Get started. I am so excited, you guys, about this. We have been working on this. So many of us leaders, Brandy Lieber, Brooke Hamill, Jason Hamill, Julie Davidson, Kelsey Byer, Marissa Donnell, Melissa Stansel, Melody Marrow, Sarah Hollingsworth. I just want to make sure I gave all of those leaders a shout out because all of us chipped in to make sure that you guys had an opportunity to get to be on this live today. We did several different contests for you guys to earn this training. And so we're so incredibly excited. It's a big deal. I mean, if you've been in network marketing any amount of time at all, you don't just get access to the owners of the company. You really don't. And so it's a really, really big deal here that we have that we have the kind of relationships with our owners, Josh and Jenna, that they will. All you have to do is ask them and they'll come in and they'll do some really special trainings. So today they're going to be training you guys. And I am going to let them do all the talking. But Jenna, I am so incredibly honored that you and Josh said yes. I'm more honored that you guys set out on this journey because I know that it's changed my life and it's changed the lives of so many since I decided to come in. And I'm excited to see how many more lives it's going to change. So Jenna, take it away. Oh, let me unmute you. There you go.
Okay. All right, good. Can you hear me? We're good? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Well, first of all, just to hand it back to you, Tina, thank you for having me on. And Josh is on as well. We convinced him to join us as well since he's got a whole different kind of training style. So we wanted to merge our two together and see what we came up with today. So hand it back to you, Tina, again. Thank you again for having us on it. And congratulations to everybody that made it onto this call. I know you guys had to kick butt and put it into high gear in order to have this training. So we're excited to be here, to be here with you guys today. So I know, Tina, you said you wanted us to cover a few different topics, specifically recruiting and creating your own momentum and that sort of thing. I love when you guys ask questions and comment in the chat. So I'll be reading that as we do this training. But you guys, I've been great at recruiting. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I'm not as good as a recruiter as Josh. So I want to bring Josh up real quick so he can kind of start this call out right and give us his best tips, tricks, and what's worked for him in his business and his career, not only as a CEO and recruiting top talent for our corporate staff, but also as a networker and how he's been able to build such a substantial business as even just an affiliate. So Josh, if you're there, please unmute yourself if you're able to. Tina, if he's not able to, maybe you can find him and unmute him.
Here.
And
I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, he's unmuted.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, once again, just really excited to be here. And Tina, thanks for the invite. I saw the Zoom on my calendar and I was like, oh, cool. I have a Zoom with Tina's team. So it was really exciting to, get to do this call. And of course, Jenna she's an incredible leader, recruiter, mentor, trainer. So hopefully I can add some value. We do have very different styles. I come from more of the traditional network marketing background. And if I were to give you guys, my best tips for recruiting is the first thing that I have found is I'm really good at building relationships. I've learned that in this industry, the more relationships that you can build, the easier it is to attract people into your business. And I think when people get into network marketing, they have kind of a different approach. They think that the key is to just kind of spam people. And it's like, when we train, talk to as many people as you can, people take that they take it literal and they just, send their link out to everyone. And one of the secrets to my success is I'm a master relationship builder. I have people that, that I've maintained a relationship with for the last 7 or 8 years. And now 7 or 8 years later, they're wanting to join My Daily Choice. And they may have gone to a different company. They may have had a lot of success, but over the course of time, I've stayed in touch with different folks that I was connected to. So, what I do is I connect with new people. I build a relationship. I maintain that relationship. And then eventually at some point, in your relationship, it'll be good timing to introduce your business to them. It's not always right away, because if you're going after like top network marketers, sometimes, if they're having a lot of success in their business, there's no reason for them to necessarily make a decision to come over or join your team. So timing is always critical with when you're building relationships, and especially if you're going after people that have already, they're already having success in the industry. So, but sometimes it is good timing. If you find somebody that you've built a relationship with and you're like a friendly ally to them, and they're not doing well in their company, it may be a good time for them to check your business out. So I'd say that's number one, is building relationships. And the way that I build relationships is, the first thing is I'm very curious about the people that I'm building a relationship with. So I think the difference is, instead of me telling them about my business all the time, like, here's my products, here's my comp plan, here's my system, here's my I don't do any of that. I don't talk about anything about my business until they ask. I don't pitch them on anything. I'm more curious about what they're doing in their business. I want to know how many people they have in their organization, what kind of success they've had, what they're doing. I want to show a genuine interest in the people that I'm connected to, versus just verbally vomiting about, here's why my business is so great. So, think of it like a date, like when Jen and I went on our first date, we had to ask each other about, like, hey, tell me about your life. Hey, tell me about it's really like a date when you're building relationships, and nobody wants to be on a date with someone that just won't shut up about themselves, So if you raise your hand, I know we're on Zoom, raise your hand if you've been on a date like that, right? It sucks when that person won't stop talking, and all you want to do is just say one thing about yourself, but you can't, because that person won't stop. So think of your network marketing relationship building like going on a first date. You want to find out about their company, what their goals are, what they're interested in, where are they traveling to, what products are they excited about, just find out about the person and start building, real relationships. And then the second thing that's worked really well for me is I make it a goal of mine to connect with as many people as I possibly can, and connecting with the right people is important for me. So I don't just want to connect with a bunch of random people. For me, it's not just numbers. I want to connect with like-minded people that have the same interests and similar goals that I have. So as an example, like when I'm on social media and I'm looking for friends to add, I'm looking for top network marketers, people that are traveling, people that are building a business, people that are on stage. I'm looking for people that do what I do, because I don't want to connect with people that aren't in the same industry as me. I want to connect with people that are very much like me, because then we're going to have something in common that we can talk about. I don't want to connect with somebody that is anti-network marketing or anti-entrepreneurship, because I'm not going to be able to talk to that person about anything. So I'm very selective with who I add on social media and who I spend my time connecting with. And I make it a point to connect with a lot of people every day. So in the last couple of weeks, I've been spending a significant amount of effort in building new relationships and connecting with top networkers. Here at corporate, we've surrounded ourselves with a great corporate team. So it's really freed my time up to do what I'm passionate about and spend more time in the field, do calls like this, connect with top networkers. So I'm really excited to be back in, that mode of being a really kind of like a distributor or affiliate in the field. And it's exciting to connect with new people. So those would be my two biggest tips. But I guess the last thing that's important is you always want to recruit up. Okay. So if you're taking notes, write that down, recruit up. It's very often in this industry that people recruit down, right? So every single person has a certain level of success. Like when you join the business, you have a certain level of success. That could be the income you're currently making. It could be your status. It could be how how big of an organization maybe you've built in a previous company. Everybody has a different level where they start. And oftentimes when people come in, they recruit down. They go after people that aren't as excited as them. They go after people that aren't making as much money as them. They go after people that are at a, I guess, well, I'd say a lesser level than them. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, because everybody has an opportunity to succeed in this business. But if you really want to attract top talent into your organization, you want to start recruiting up. You want to find more successful people. I mean, what a novel idea to find somebody to join your organization that's more successful than you, right? If you had a whole team of people like that, then you'd be doing pretty good. And I think, it's like that. It's that concept that you're not the smartest person in the room. Like, one of the things that I think Jen and I have done really well at corporate is we're not the smartest people in the room. We've surrounded ourselves with a lot of really talented, experienced people. And in your network marketing business, you want to do the same thing. If you have all top talent joining your organization, people that are smarter than you, they make more money than you, they've built a successful business before, then your business is going to flourish. So get your chicken list out, start calling them. We all have our chicken list. Who are we afraid to call? Who are we afraid to contact? And I always go after, those people, because, they usually can add a lot of value to your organization. So I'd say those are some of my top tips, Jen, is building relationships and reaching out to a lot of people and making those connections and trying to find people that are in the same industry as us and that are doing the activities that that we're doing, on stage, speaking, training, duplicating, doing calls. You want people like that in your organization. So maybe that's a good way to kick this call off.
Awesome. I want to dive deep a little bit on some of the things that you said, because I can already tell that some people have their wheels spinning. Like, well, how do you recruit up? How do you do that? Or we always talk about relationships, but I don't have time to build long-term relationships because I need to make money by next week, right? At least that's what I'm thinking. For me, when I was first in network marketing, I didn't have the luxury to wait a month or 3 years to get a paycheck. I needed a paycheck next Thursday from payday. So a lot of us are in that situation. If we're not in that situation, our team members are probably in that situation if they're brand new. For me, I really do believe that you can build relationships in a short amount of time. You can make good relationships in a short amount of time. There are people that are naturally good at relationships. My grandfather was one of them. He was never a network marketer, but he definitely knew the 3-foot rule. He's one of those guys that he'll talk to in the grocery store. He'll talk to while he's getting his car washed. He'll talk to everybody, embarrassing the whole family, of course, but always making friends. We always were late going home from church because he had to talk to all his friends before we left. You guys know anybody like that? Because we could learn from these people, right? If you're the kind of person that's like shy to talk to new people, let me just challenge you to become more like that, where you are absolutely fearless. I mean, you really don't have anything to lose. I mean, you may encounter a few rude people here and there, whatever, that's their loss. But to be in network marketing, you got to be great at building relationships quickly. It's not just about the long-term seed that you're planting. Now, don't get me wrong, for the bigger networkers out there, you have to plant seeds sometimes over several years. Okay, this is like 6-7 years, because these people don't move from their company once they're there. Like, it takes an earthquake in the corporate structure for them to leave, right? So we could be sitting around for years waiting to recruit these people. In the meantime, your rent's due next month and your teammates' car payments are next week, and we got to get these people profitable quickly. So you have to really know how to make somebody like you quickly. It's all about being likable. It's about having charisma. It's about having that it factor, which is probably the hardest thing in the world to teach. But if you know people like this, if you follow people like this, we can learn lessons from them and how to become likable. Now, I don't want to bash my own child here, but I'm going to bash my own child here. He's not going to watch this. Okay. My 14-year-old that knows everything about everything. He's not likable. Unfortunately, he's very hard to like. And the reason is because he'd rather be right than save his relationships. You guys know people like that, where they are all about the facts, right? And some of us get like that in our network marketing company. Like, well, MDC is number one because look at, we have the best comp plan. We pay 85%. These might all be the truth, right? But if you're waving your flag around with so much pride and ego, you're not going to make people like you, right? I mean, we do have kind of that culture where like, we're the best, we're the biggest, we're the baddest or whatever. But how do other people in network marketing feel about us? You know, do you guys ever think about that? So even though we are the best, we pay the most, we have the best quality products out there, it's not necessarily helpful to be chanting that mantra all the time. At some point, we're going to have to come down a notch and level with the people that are literally stuck where they're at because they think that they know the truth about where they're at right now. So the biggest thing to building relationships is to be a really great listener. Even though we know all the facts, we want to speak, you know, we want to tell them about everything that we have. It really, really pays in this business to just be the listener. And I had to learn that the hard way. I've had all kinds of sales jobs my whole life. And I always lost the sale when I spoke too soon. And I think we have this problem in network marketing. It's a very common thing, where we jump in, we get excited, we won't shut up about something that we're fired up about, and it ends up turning the people off completely. Because you don't know where that person's at in their life. You know, they may have just lost a loved one. They may have just got divorced. They may have just experienced an extreme hardship. Whatever is going on in their life, if you're not taking the time to really get to know them first, they're not going to listen to anything that you have to say. There's a saying in network marketing, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Right? So that's number one. Number one is you have to show that you care about the person before you can even offer any kind of opportunity whatsoever, because everybody's already sketch about network marketing. At least the outsiders are, right? Now, people who are already in network marketing, we know it's not a pyramid scheme, right? We've already moved on from that. We know it's not a Ponzi. We know it's an ethical, legitimate business. Yes. But the outsiders out there don't know that yet. So if you come out then with your business opportunity, they're going to probably go like this immediately if you jump into that before you show that you're caring about them, right? So we have to be good listeners. We have to be expert fact finders. You have to imagine that you're the doctor and you're listening for symptoms, right? And I don't mean that in a literal basis. So if you're like, I'm gonna prescribe CBD somebody, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in general, we're listening for the hot buttons in their life. We're looking for the red flags that are going to get them to sign up later, because these people are going to give you their problems. After somebody starts opening up to you because they feel they trust you now, because you've gotten that far in the relationship, they'll start opening up and they'll tell you what they need. And as soon as we can find something that they need, we can be the solution to their problem. Does that make sense? So if they're saying, I really just need to make $500 a month, and you wouldn't know that, right? If you start saying, I'm going to make $1 million a month in comp plan, I'm going to be a super affiliate, they're probably like, I don't believe anything you're saying. That sounds crazy. Because that's so far from where they're at mentally that it's just not going to translate. So if they just want to make $500 a month, you got to meet them there and say, absolutely, we can work on that. Or I just want to, make $1,000 extra a month, or I want to put my kids in private school, or I want to, you got to find their goals, their wants, their needs. What is it going to take for them to build this business? They don't know why they want to build this business yet, but you're gathering all the facts so that you can encourage them to build their dreams. Because a lot of times people don't have that belief in themselves yet. You have the belief for them. We believe in them for them because we've already seen success stories. But maybe nobody in their life has ever been successful. So it's so out there that they can't even imagine it yet. But we know successful people because we're in this business, right? Tina's very successful in this business. You guys all know her. So it's not that crazy to us to think that we could be in that position ourselves. But our prospects might not know Tina. They might not know Josh or me or Kristen Butler or whoever is out there that's succeeding right now. They don't have these people in their lives. So we have to meet them on their level so that we can help build their dreams from where they're at. That makes sense? So there's a different kind of, I guess, style of building. You want these, there's fast signups versus the long-term signups. Now, when I first got started in network, well, not in network marketing, but in My Daily Choice, I recruited 40 people my first week, 40. And there's a reason for that. Now everybody's like, how do you do that? Oh my God, like I'd love to sign up 40 people. I made almost $4,000 on my weekly check because everybody came in as an executive and I made $100 commission. All right, so that was the average. Some were like builders or whatever, but that was the average. That was my first week in My Daily Choice, selling 3 sprays in 2014. How I did that was I prepared my following for what was to come. I prepared my following for what was to come. I started to build the relationships before we launched. Now, why is this important? You guys are saying, well, MDC already exists, so we're not launching anymore. No, but your new people that are in your business haven't launched yet. So they can still have that opportunity to launch their business.
Great.
We need to mute Corey.
By passive income revenue into a bit later.
I don't know if you can
And it
mute
all comes down inside of your
Corey Shiles. We can hear you.
And it won't mute. There
Well,
we
I'm
go.
glad you're not in the bathroom. That's all I got to say about that.
Go ahead.
It'll be worse. But everybody has the opportunity to launch their business, right? So I prepared my following, and we think our relationships are all one-on-one. They're not necessarily, not from the get-go. Okay, people build relationships with you whether you think they do or not. When I go to convention, there's thousands of people in the room that think they have a relationship with me, and I only know a handful of them. Do you know how weird that is? Because I build the relationships from my Facebook, right? And everybody comes and says, you know who I am. I'm on your Facebook. And I'm like, yes, I think I remember. Hold on, let me go check real quick. And everybody looks different on Facebook than they do in real life. But we can build relationships from our Facebook page without necessarily having these deep, long, drawn out relationships. And this is important because this has to do with building your brand. If you're building your brand and you're consistent and you have the same, and you've targeted your market, your audience knows exactly what to expect, then you can build the relationship that way. The same thing goes for big corporate brands out there, right? You may not think that we have an association to what Apple means or what Coca-Cola means or what Disney, even Tina's wearing all this Disney stuff in her background, what Disney means, right? You have a relationship to brands without even realizing it because it's in your face, right? And it's consistent. Now, if Disney did something completely outrageous and launched like a horror movie that was not cartoons or something completely left field, we'd be like, what the heck happened to Disney? They just totally betrayed us. We had our trust with them. We thought kids' movies were coming out, and now they started doing this other kind of, video or whatever. We would be so confused by that. Well, we are our own brands just like that. We are our own brands just like Disney. We are our own business centers. And some of us forget this when we're on Facebook and we're complaining about this and that, and we're ranting about this and that. We don't realize we are our own corporate. Each one of us is our own business center. You are the brand. And every time somebody sees your name, they're associating you with something, whether it's good or bad. And let me tell you, I spent a few years in network marketing building bad associations to my name. Because I didn't know better. I was extremely negative. Like you wouldn't even know how many memories I had to delete. Like you wouldn't think, because again, network marketing is a personal development business. I didn't start out just positive, shiny, and have my, what together. It didn't start out that way for me. I had to learn the hard way. My brand was taking a beating to the point where I had 2 likes per post. Everybody was tuning me out completely. And I had no engagement whatsoever. And I could not figure out why this was happening when every other post was positive and every other post was about my business and my opportunity and my products. It was never consistent. So because it wasn't consistent, my audience was always confused about what the heck I was trying to achieve. That's something we all can learn from We are building our brands on Facebook. You are building relationships, whether you realize it or not. You're building the trust, whether you realize it or not, with people that are paying attention to you. You realize your page is a magazine. Your page is your Netflix. And every new episode, your goal is to get that person hooked on the next episode. I post things on purpose so that people will stay engaged. And I feel a little bit like you guys are saying the Oz behind the curtain or whatever, like Wizard of Oz, but that's the way it really works, right? I'm building my brand so that you guys have certain ideas about me. Now, sometimes I throw controversy in there on purpose. I'm not recommending you do that because I don't know how people on your page are going to react. I have a different kind of following, right? Sometimes I throw that in there. Sometimes I throw things in there because it wakes people up. It shakes people up. Because if I posted the same thing all the time, or every single post was one way, people would be glossed over, tune me out like a banner ad, right? Some leaders are so consistent that we forget to pay attention to them. Network marketing is all, and this is nuts. Josh told me this, but it totally makes sense. Network marketing, you have to reinvent yourself every 6 months. If you're not growing and reinventing yourself and becoming a better version of yourself consistently, you're boring everybody. Is that nuts? If you're not starting a new mentorship, if you're not starting a new training, a new something, like you have to give people something to pay attention to, because our attention spans are this big nowadays, like legit. And if you're not creating that momentum on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, people are going to forget about you. They're going to have one memory left of you, and that's, oh yeah, Tina was XYZ, or yeah, Josh was XYZ, but I don't know what they're doing now. Or they're still doing the same thing they're doing that they've always been doing. Right? So we have to work at it. It's not something where we just build it once and then we're good for the rest of our life. That would be very nice. I would love that if that were the case. But this is a business that is continually changing, and you have to continually grow and upgrade yourself in order to stay relevant. And let me just tell you guys this. If you're not going to networking events, whether you agree with the trainers or not, that's really like doesn't even matter, honestly. That you're going to get great training sometimes there at these events, but it's not even about that. It's about who's going to be sitting next to you in the seats. It's whose house can you end up with other 6 and 7 figure earners. I didn't realize that for a long time. You know how I started building myself on social media? I went to these events, I took selfies with the top income earners, and I posted that. I attached myself to bigger people than myself so that my association, my brand value could raise up. So if you're thinking, I don't want to stand in line to get a picture of Josh and Jenna at convention, think again, because that's going to give you a lot of weight on your Facebook page that you were there and you were with the #1 income earner, with #1 business or whatever. Get that picture with Tina. Get that picture with these top income leaders that are out there, because that's going to help raise you up if you have a hard time raising yourself up naturally. Now, that sounds crazy, maybe, I don't know, but I had to do that with all the top social networkers. I knew if they had a big following, I was taking a picture with them. And I was going to be best friends with them. And now I'm going to be best friends with all their followers too, because I knew if I was friends with all their followers, it would easily translate in my business. If I posted something just like them and we had the same audience, I would get engagement. Does that make sense? So we have some of our top trainers out there today, right? Eric Worre, Todd Falcone, Ray Higdon, like these are some of the big names out there, right? Go to their events. Go to their events. Why? Not just so you can sit there and take notes, but so you can rub elbows with the top people in the room. That is the art of networking. And that's probably the hard work we don't want to do, but that's what we've done. And that's what we had to do in order to meet some of these people, in order to get into these circles. So I'm just throwing that out there so that you guys know. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. How to create momentum if your business is completely dead. You want to talk about that? Because HempWorks used to be nothing, right? It came from nothing. Like we never had any leaders just join us. Like it was all organic, 100%. We couldn't pay for ads. Like my Facebook ad account's been shut down for the last 3 years. Okay. So how do we build something from nothing without having major networkers in our business? Now, this should give you hope for yourself, because if you haven't been to those rooms, those networking events yet, if you haven't rubbed elbows with the right leaders yet that have big, teams and all that, we built HempWorks from nothing because we did build those one-on-one relationships, but it was all a fact-finding need basis, one person at a time. It was, somebody asked me the other day, how many messages when you were building like crazy, how many messages a day? Josh said he tried to talk to 10 people new a day. Back then, I was talking to 50 to 100 people a day. My Facebook was blowing up all the time, but it wasn't because people were coming to me. It's because I was going to them. I was planting hundreds of seeds a day. So if you don't have time to harvest 10 years from now, those big leaders or whatever, and you need to make money tomorrow, then you have to 10x your level of effort that you're doing right now. If you're making $1,000 a month, you want to make $10,000 a month, look at how many people you're talking to a day and times it by 10. And your income will match that. It's not easy. It's not necessarily fun, but that's the work that it takes to get to the top. That's the work it takes to get to the next level, the next rank. You just have to expand your reach. Now, some of us feel like, well, there's just no more leads on Facebook. I've already exhausted them all. I hear this all the time too. But Facebook is this ever-growing organism, and you could literally be in a completely different world if you just search for a different thing, right? Like it's really amazing. So if you're fishing in one pond and you're not getting any fish, think outside the box and start fishing somewhere else, because there's millions and billions of people on Facebook, and maybe you're looking too narrow of a circle of where you're fishing, and you just need to expand your nets out to more and different categories of people. What I've always taught people with the art of networking is what defines you right now. What are your top 3 to 5 interests? What are you passionate about? I took my first Pilates class today, you guys, because it's my 4th baby. I'm already getting chunky, like for real. So I'm like, I need to get into the gym and do something. I took my first Pilates class today. It was actually really fun and I liked it. And now I'm thinking I'm going to join some Pilates groups on Facebook, and I'm going to network with Pilates people because I want to know all the tips, tricks, and whatever. So now when I have conversations with them, no, it's not going to be about HempWorks, you guys. It's going to be about Pilates, right? We're going to have that conversation. And then you know how the conversation is going to evolve is to say, oh, great. What do you do for a living? We all ask each other that at some point, right? Oh, I work from home. I work for the #1 CBD oil company in the world. Or I work from home and I work for the fastest growing network marketing company in the industry. Or I'm a network marketer. Just keep it basic, keep it simple. You don't have to say I'm in HempWorks or I'm in My Daily Choice. You can describe the business that you're in to create curiosity. Does that make sense?
Everybody's not muted. Let me mute.
Webinar too, I think, because it wasn't a webinar, it was a meeting. And when you have meetings, you don't have as much control for some reason. So my point is, find 3 to 5 interests that you're very passionate about that you could talk to somebody about that doesn't necessarily have to do with business. I don't know who this is. They don't even have a name on there.
Hang on, we're gonna fix it.
I see you, person talking. Okay.
Go ahead.
So what defines you? What are you excited about? So Tina, right off the bat, I don't know the in and outs of your life, but I know you're a grandma. I know that you're Disney. I know that you love your family, and I know that you had a tough past. Those are the things I think when I think Tina. So if I was you, I would try to network with people that have those common interests, because those conversations are going to be way easier to convert than if you went after some like a truck driver group or something completely out of left field that doesn't make any sense to you. Some of us are trying so hard to get into circles that we don't even belong in. We need to just stay with what we're good at, where we are already naturally fitting into. If we do that, those conversations are so much easier to have than the strained ones where literally at the end of the day, the only thing you have in common would be the business. Because what happens after those people join? You're not going to know why they want to build the business. You're not going to have anything else to talk about besides business, and the relationship's going to strain. So my biggest tip is to get involved where you're already naturally at. That's the easiest way to network, and then to expand it from there. So let's talk about quality of people, okay, real quick. Less quality people, and I know this probably sounds harsh, or like, how could you judge somebody like that? Stay with me. But you guys know what I'm talking about, because you've recruited people, and it doesn't mean, I'm not talking about their income. I'm not talking about anything in specific. I'm talking about people that will take off and build in your business with little to no help. Okay, less quality. They need a lot more hand holding. They need a lot more instruction. They may be newer to the industry, newer to entrepreneurship, period. Okay, so less quality might be easier to sell them, right? But it's going to be harder for them to build. So the higher quality of people are going to be harder to sell, but they're going to be easier to build. So it's good to have a mix in your business. If you have 100% new people in your business, you're going to have a hard time gaining momentum within those ranks, because everybody's on level 1, right? You need to have a good mix. You need to have some on level 10, some on level 5, so that you're helping these business centers, these people, grow and see results at all different levels. This helps you build a healthy, diversified business, so that if 3 or 4 people quit, it's not the end of the world, right? Because you have diversified your businesses. Does that make sense? Now, if you have to beg somebody to join, you're going to have to beg them to build. So don't even bother with trying to twist somebody's arm to get into this business. I don't care how desperate you are for the sale, and maybe you could convince them to join. If you have to convince them to join, you got to convince them to build. Their heart's never going to be in it. So what does that mean for you? It means you need to posture up and be confident in what you have to offer. And if it's not for them, be graceful about it. It's probably not for you. Like, it's not for everybody. I'm literally just looking for people who are looking for me. And if you're not looking for me, we'll just be friends until it is for you. These people sometimes watch you a year or 2 later, and then they join and they're like, okay, I'm ready to change my life. I wasn't back then, but if they joined back then, you will be twisting their arm for the next 2 years, and they would not be growing, right? So what kinds of people do we want to look for to help diversify this business? People that have centers of influence. Doesn't have to all be network marketers. They could be real estate agents. They could be insurance agents. These people have centers of influence. They already have a natural network of people. This makes your life much easier, because when you say make a list, they're not like, oh, I don't really know anyone, right? They have a list already, and it might be in their other businesses that they have. So you want to look for centers of influence, these people that have circles of people already. They've already got networks of people. Could be your dentist, could be anybody that has any entrepreneurship skills, period. You never know who this business is going to be for. You don't know that your dentist is tired of working 90 hours a week or whatever, right? You don't know who needs this right now. So look for people that already have an influence over a network of people. Those are going to be great to diversify your business if you've got a lot of newbies on your team. Okay, next thing I want to mention, and then I know we're probably running out of time here, but I have a million notes, so I'm just gonna download it all onto you guys as much as I can. But how to recruit up. Josh always says you got to recruit up. Now, this was intimidating for me, for sure, because I don't know how to talk to people better than me, right? Like, that makes me nervous. Like, I don't know. Like, if I already have in my mind that they know more about network marketing, building than I do, I'm going to be intimidated to talk to them, right? And so how do we recruit up? Okay, first and foremost, we have to level up ourselves, right? That's a long-term plan that's going on in the background. So that's an ongoing process. How we recruit up is we level up. We don't know if we ever want to stay where we're at. We want to level up ourselves. I could not recruit people higher than myself until I became that person that was on their level, right? So that's That's one thing. And how do you level up as a networker? It's not just personal development, but this is very important, yes, because it's going to help you have confidence. It's going to help you have self-esteem. It's going to give you all that good feeling when you talk to somebody. You're not going to be insecure, shy to talk to them because you've done the internal work it takes to have that posture. But you do need to have that posture, right? And I used to teach people, like, imagine if you had $1 million in the bank right now, right? How would you go to that business meeting with a prospect? You would probably act a little bit different than if you had $2 in your bank account, right? Because in the back of your head, you have this thing going on in your head that's saying you've got $2, it's do or die, it's sign them or your house is bankrupt, right? Your house got to be mortgaged. You have that playing on the back of your head. So this is the part it gets tricky, because we have to have $1 million mindset even when we've got a $2 bank account. This is the part it gets tricky, because you've got to change your mindset before your physical reality is changed at all. This was the hardest thing for me to learn, but it was the biggest and most important thing I had to learn in order to develop my skills as a network marketer. When I got into my Ford Fusion that I still owed $15,000 on, I had to imagine it was a different car completely. When I pulled up to my business meeting, I had to envision I was in a Lamborghini, right? And you guys are like, I don't want a Lamborghini. Those seats look uncomfortable. Fine. Whatever your dream car is, imagine that. And maybe you're like, well, I'm just not materialistic, so I can't get into that mindset. Fine. Whatever it is that gets you into the mindset of abundance, do that and do those things often. So for me, I had to test drive different cars. For me, I had to put myself into situations that made me uncomfortable. I took my parents to Hawaii in November, and they haven't done the personal development I've done, right? Josh and I walked into that place, felt confident, felt good. We're wearing sweats, by the way. Everybody in that whole place is dressed up to a T. All the women got Botox, like you name it. We definitely looked like we were out of place. We knew we weren't. We knew we were just fine, right? But my parents were like, oh my God, we don't belong here. They literally said that. They're like, this is too good for us. And I'm like, that's crap. Like this, you're good enough for any of this. Like, you're no different than the richest person on your street. You are the same. Okay. And we have to get into that mindset that there is nobody better than us and that they're the same as us. We just haven't arrived yet. We're just on a different chapter, right? They may be on chapter 8 and we're on chapter 2. That's fine. We're getting there though. We're still on that path. So there's no sense in judging ourselves and being down on ourselves for something that's already in the process. When you order something from Amazon, you know it's on the way. 2-3 days is showing up at your house, right? You're not freaking out. You're not checking your order. You're not like, oh my God, where's the tracking? Because they're sending you updates, right? It's the same thing when you're placing your order with the universe, with God, whatever you want to say. When you're on your trajectory of success, you're placing your order, which is, I'm successful. I'm a super affiliate. I'm gonna get this rank. I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna change my family's life. I'm gonna pay cash for this, right? You're placing your order and it's just a matter of time before it shows up. You don't have to stress about it. You don't have to doubt that it's coming. It's already on the way and you have to expect that miracle because it's already here. You know, I blew my son's mind the other day and it's really hard to do because he's a teenager and he knows everything. Okay, he said, you know what? What's it gonna be like in the future when we have all this futuristic technology? And I said, the future is already here. There's nothing that's going to be different in the future because, and let me tell you why. Because everything all information and knowledge is already here. It already exists. We just haven't realized it yet. Right? It's already here. We just haven't figured it out yet. So your success is already here. You just haven't connected the dots yet. Your future life is already here. You just don't know it yet. It's right here. That's where it all is. It's all in your head. So when you're driving to work every day and you're dreading it because you just want to be full-time at home, and maybe I'm speaking for people on your team, maybe you're already there, right? Just know that your mindset is what's going to change the trajectory of your whole life, and it's going to change the trajectory of your whole business. Now, all of us have grown from a place we used to be, correct? Tina, right? She for sure. What'd she say? She used to be an alcoholic. She had a completely different life story than she does now. So you've already grown as a person. So you had a different mindset than you did back then. Old Tina is nothing like new Tina, and new Tina is nothing like future Tina. So if you're like, well, growing's hard, and I don't know how I can make myself into, the next super affiliate, but you've already leveled up in your life. You've already progressed. So because you've already experienced that growth, it's possible. You just have to go that much further. So how do we posture up? You have to change the mindset. You have to change the tapes that are playing in your mind. That's the first thing on how to posture up. You also have to know your stuff. Okay, you can't go to a top networker without knowing your stuff. If you didn't write down your notes first, if you didn't study your presentation first, if you don't know your compensation plan first and your products and what they can do for people and the different products that we have and what countries we're in and where we're shipping and all that stuff, that sounds like a lot. But if you don't know your stuff, if you're not a master of your craft, it's going to be very hard to go talk to a networker that is above you, right? Is outranking you. It's going to be hard to recruit up if you don't know your stuff. And here's the key. You also have to know their stuff. You got to know their stuff. You need to know more about them than they know about them. This is something that Josh does amazing. Okay, he knows everything about everybody. It's gross. Like, what you could ask him, we could do network marketing trivia, we'd be all blown away. He would know every single answer. If we did network marketing Jeopardy, it's annoying the amount of facts he has in his head. He'd be like, oh yeah, I know the top leader in this deal over here, and they're going through this right now in their personal life, and this is how much their check is, and it's dropped by 10% in the last 3 months. Like, how do you even know this information? He's networking in the deepest circles that you can even imagine. So you don't even, you got to know your stuff, but you need to know their stuff too. Okay? You need to know how long they've been in that company. You need to know why they joined that company. What is their battle cry with the company that they're in now? Why does this information help you? Because when you talk to them, you're prepared for the meeting. They're going to say, well, I'm in this company. Yeah, I know you're in this company, and you're working with this person, right? And this person just left your team, and I know all that. Yes, I'm with you on that. They're going to be so impressed by the fact that you took time to learn them that you can actually have a conversation with them now. But if you didn't have that information, you're probably going to look like a new person. If you give off I'm a new person vibe to them, it's an automatic shutdown. The door's closed. That's how we recruit up. So back on the mindset, and then I'm going to wrap this up. I posted this morning, and it really means everything, okay? Needing nothing attracts everything. Needing nothing attracts everything. And I think about the tough times in my life when I needed everything, I repelled everything. When I needed everything, I repelled everything. Needing nothing attracts everything. And how do you get into that space? Gratitude. Gratitude for the littlest, tiniest things in your life. Practice. You have to practice this. This is a muscle. Willpower is a muscle. Gratitude is a muscle you have to exercise. It's not something that just is for some people and it's not for some other people. It's not for just, well, that person's positive, whatever. No, they practice it every day. They write it down every day. They write down what they're grateful for. It could be the littlest things. But if you're not in that feeling, if you're just writing it down and you're not feeling anything, you're wasting your time. You're just putting words on the paper. Okay? But you have to feel it. Why do you have to feel it? Because your feelings and your emotions are what amplifies your thoughts. Your thoughts and your emotions is what creates your physical reality. Every single one of us is experiencing a different reality. Everybody has a different world. I'm looking at these screens. Everybody's got a different background. Everybody's got their own life story, right? But we all can be gratitude. We can all be grateful for something in our lives. And that feeling of gratitude and abundance for what you already have is going to attract so much more into your life. I got to the point where I just didn't care anymore. I got so tired of chasing success. You know what? I'm just going to be happy right here. I'm just going to be happy right here. I don't need it anymore. I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm thankful. And because of that, I let go. I let go of the outcome. I surrendered, completely. It was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm bankrupt. So I don't fear it anymore. Yes, I've been broke, so I don't fear it anymore. I've had my heart broken, so I don't fear it anymore. I've been through this, so I don't fear it anymore. And once you decide that you're done being afraid of things, you decide to let that go, you started to attract everything that you never thought you could actually have, but you've always wanted. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. And I do appreciate you guys for having me on. Josh, I'm going to just pass it back to you before we wrap this thing up. And if you'd like to add anything, and then of course, back to Tina.
Well, it's really hard to follow that training. Jen, you just knocked it out of the park. I mean, I was taking notes here the whole time. Being a good listener, I think was a key takeaway from that training. People do business with people that they like, know, and trust. I thought that was really critical as well. Having charisma, being excited, understanding what people's wants, needs, and goals are, I thought was also, a really good takeaway. Not trying to bring people into your business that you have to convince or beg to join, because Jen made a really good point that you have to then, convince them to go to work, so you kind of want to attract people that want to build this business with or without you, finding people that are equally, if not more motivated than you are. And then I also liked what you said about, kind of placing your order with the universe, that, a lot of being successful in this industry is your mindset and what you put out there. So like each one of you on the call right now, like you can claim today that you're a super affiliate. Maybe the check's not there yet. Maybe the rank's not there yet. Maybe the volume in the back office isn't there yet. But if you put yourself in that mindset that you've already done it, you've already achieved it, it just needs to materialize, then, you're in a better position to be in that. And it's like in my first company, I saw all these people walking the stage, hitting, diamond, blue diamond, all these top ranks in the company. And I always, like, even though I was, a broke college student, I always told myself, I'm going to be walking the stage. Like, I'm going to be the top rank of the company. I'm going to be the top income earner. I'm going to hit it the fastest. I'm going to break all the records. And even though like everybody thought I was crazy, that's what wound up happening, because I was always telling people that, and I was always putting that out there. So I think a lot of what you said just hit the nail on the head in terms of, how to create momentum in your organization and the right mindset to be in. I think the only thing that I would add to that before I pass it back to you, Tina, is make sure that you guys are promoting the roadshow events and the upcoming convention, because that is one of the easiest ways to jumpstart your business and build momentum. Because when you promote the events and you bring your prospects and your team to the roadshow events, it has an unbelievable impact on your organization. So, if I were to give you guys some advice, I would say don't take those events lightly. And when I say promote it, I don't mean just announce it. There's a difference in this industry between making announcements and promoting. The majority of people in the industry, when there's a company announcement, they just announce it to their team, and that's it. That's all they do. Here's the announcement, everybody. If you actually want to get a lot of people to the event, you have to promote it. You have to call your team, pick up the phone, get on the phone with your top leaders or whoever. If you're brand new in the business, maybe you're calling your couple of personally enrolled people that you have, and you're telling them the benefits of coming to the event. You're inviting them to the event. You're explaining to them why they need to attend to the event. You're getting them excited to meet you there at the event. That's how you promote an event. It's not just, hey, here's the announcement. And I know we have some leaders on this call as well that have organizations. So you promote the event, and then you really want to start engaging your team. Get your whole team engaged in the process of promoting the event. Okay. And that could be like, maybe you create a contest. Who in your organization can sell the most tickets to the different roadshow events? Maybe you give something away, or something that drives people in your team to promote and sell the most tickets to the event. Also, the events are a great way for you to give recognition. So if you're building an organization and you've got people joining your team and they come to one of these events, that's a great way for you to recognize your team and start to build team culture. We always talk about team culture in this industry. Well, the people that have culture in their team are the ones that they have their team coming to each one of these events, because it gives you an opportunity to celebrate with your organization and build relationships, build bonds, create team camaraderie. And then the last thing that I would say is in the roadshow events, it gives you an opportunity to hold an event within an event. Okay, so when I was a distributor in the field, I would always promote from event to event, but at each event, we always had a breakaway session for my team at every single event. And that was something that was specific to my team that addressed something that our organization wanted to go over, whether it was prospecting, recruiting, duplicating, a different market that I was working on in my team. And I wanted to have, my team drive enrollments in a certain country. So, hold an event within the event. There's a 90-minute break during lunch. So that's a great way to, at every single one of these roadshow events, do a little breakaway or training session with your organization. And then my last tip would be extensive repetition. Okay. Just because you've promoted the event once on social media or you've called some people about it, that doesn't mean people are going to come. Make sure that you are repeating the event over and over, every call, every meeting, every Zoom, every chance you have, that's an opportunity for you to promote the events. Okay. And, with our roadshow events, what's really cool is every prospect that buys a ticket, $20 ticket, goes towards waiving their enrollment fee at the event. Think about that for just a second. Every single person that is not in My Daily Choice that you bring to one of these events can enroll for free. So if you have 50 people, 50 prospects at each event, and they see the products, the company culture, they get to meet the corporate staff, they get to hear affiliate stories, customer testimonials, all of this excitement at the event, that is the best time for them to enroll as a prospect. And if you look at like a closing ratio on a Zoom call versus a live event, no comparison. At a live event, that is where the emotional impact is the highest, and your greatest chance of success is at a live event. So don't just get your team engaged, but start reaching out to people, in those areas and drive prospects into the event as well. And that's a great way throughout the year that you can start to build momentum leading into the big event. Where you can create just a ton of momentum in your business. And I really like what Jen said, just to wrap up what I'm saying. I really liked what Jen said about networking in the right circles. Like we Jen never used to be about going to networking events. I'd always tell her like, hey, we got to go to the event. We got to go to this event. And she's like, I don't want to go. I already know all this. I don't want to go to that event. And I used to always like get on her about going to the events, because I loved going to the events, even though, like Jen said, maybe a lot of the training I already knew, or I'd already been to several events. So it was kind of like some of the training was redundant, but it's priceless to be able to network and rub elbows with other, top people that are like-minded. It's not like you can just walk into a Starbucks here and you're going to find a bunch of network marketers. They're hard to find, like going to the grocery store, going to Starbucks, going to like places that you go to is really hard to find network marketers. So when there's a networking event and that there's going to be tons of networkers there, that's just a great opportunity for you to get some pictures with some top income earners, get to meet new people, exchange some business cards, and just network. And some of those events that I've been to, I would never thought years later somebody that I met at one of those events would contact me. But as Jen was doing this, her training, I was on Facebook and this lady reached out, and I met her like 4 years ago at an event, and she wants to join now. She's like, hey, I met you at this event. I don't even remember the event she's talking about, but she's like, hey, I met you and Jen at this event, and you know, I have a big organization and I want to get started in My Daily 4 years ago at an event, right? So I think what Jen's saying is really important, that if you start to kind of immerse yourself in those circles, then you can make really good connections. So with that said, Tina, I just want to hand it back to you. Thank you for inviting Jen and I on your team call. Really excited to see the momentum in your organization. And guys, you have an amazing leader, you know, with Tina here at the helm of your organization. I don't know if you heard her speak at the last convention, but her story was so impactful. It blew away a lot of people. And you guys are just very fortunate to be in this position where you have a dedicated, committed, awesome leader, you know, doing these types of calls, doing these training Zooms for you and your team. So definitely take advantage of that. There's been a lot of situations where leaders have a bad upline or no upline. So you guys are in a really good position. Be grateful for that, leverage it. And we hope to see you guys at the top of the company. So with that said, Tina, back to you. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, guys, that was just like incredible. And Jenna, while you were talking, I wanted to add one thing, because I think so many times people that get into network marketing, they get stagnant in what they're doing, and they just somehow forget that really your business begins at the end of your warm market. And so how many of you have been in network marketing 6 months, right? You've been in this business 6 months and you're just like, okay, nothing's happening. I'm not getting any likes on my posts. Nobody's doing anything. And it's because you didn't network. And so I think if you'll take the tools that Josh and Jenna gave you today and you'll really begin to network, you're going to see your list continue to grow and you're going to see that momentum come back to you. But here's one thing that I can assure you. Company hopping and thinking something like that's going to change things for you, it in fact won't, because you're going to run out of your warm market there too, right? And so just know that if you really want to build a sustainable business in any company, right, you are going to have to continue to add to your list. Eric Worre says you need to be adding at least 2 people a day, right? So with that, guys, thank you so much. Make sure that you guys are let me fix Ed here. Make sure that you guys are plugged into Josh and Jenna and jumping on any of the trainings that they're doing. Get to a road show. Josh and Jenna, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but several leaders and I, we planned a team retreat that happens to be in Orlando the same exact weekend as the Orlando Road Show. Everybody was coming to us and they're like, did y'all know that? And we're like, no, I swear we didn't know. But you're going to have a huge group there now because 116 of us were going to this retreat in Orlando anyways. And now we're going to make the Road Show one day of that training. So we're really, really excited about that. So get signed up for a road show, get signed up for convention. We are so excited that you guys were able to get on today. Have a blessed day, guys. Bye.